So, why should people who cycle vote for you?
Well, people who cycle should vote for me and for us because, well, I cycle every single day in Oxford, so it's completely in my interest to make cycling safer and better. But Labour are very serious about getting more people cycling because every person that cycles has the health benefits of that, and the rest of the city gets the benefit of less congestion and less pollution. So we have appointed me as the champion for cycling for the last few years on the City Council, and my remit has been to try and embed cycling policies into every relevant place that they can be. So, for example, probably the most relevant is planning policy. So all new developments have to have high quality cycle parking within them, or they do not get planning permission.
What will your party do to make cycling safer?
We have to be honest about how much the City Council can do to make cycling safer, because the roads are the remit of the County Council. But the big thing that I think therefore that we can do is do off-road cycle routes. One of the first things I got through in our budget when I was elected a decade ago was the resurfacing of the cycle path along the towpath, which is a great, therefore, off-road route for North Oxford into the station. We're just about to start one across the top of the Donington Recreation Ground, which will join up Meadow Lane with the Boundary Brook route that, again, we've recently resurfaced. So you'll have a really good traffic-free route, apart from just crossing over Iffley Road, to get all the way from Meadow Lane right through to Cowley Road. That's the big thing we can do, other than lobbying the County Council for more ones on the roads and better, more segregated cycle routes.
How would your party increase the number of children cycling to school?
So again, this is about making it safe, isn't it? Because most parents wouldn't trust a child cycling on the road. So, it's no accident that Charwell School has one of the highest cycling rates in the country. The reason is the cycle track on Marston Ferry Road. It's a beautiful, completely segregated, really safe track. One big thing we're doing, actually, we're just scoping out a learner cycle park in Florence Park. This will be somewhere where children can get used to the idea of stopping at giveaway signs, indicating when they're turning left, looking out for other road users. I think if we can get children cycling when they're young, they will turn into confident cyclists when they're older, confident, safe cyclists when they're older.
Which takes me nicely into how your party increased the number of adults cycling.
So for adults, a big issue is being able to park the bike when they get there. So a couple of years ago, the Labour-run City Council teamed up with Park That Bike, who are a charity, but they surveyed the whole of the city centre to try and find every possible spot where we could put in more cycle parking. There's not that much, you'd actually be surprised, because there's a lot of competing demands with pedestrians and deliveries needing to be made. So, but we identified all the spots and we are gradually building them out. I think there's a few going in Leckford Place the next week, for example. And that we funded. We have £200,000 in our Labour budget a couple of years ago to be spent at about £50,000 a year over 4 years to build out cycle parking. The other thing we did with Park That Bike was put some of that money to work with private spaces. So private businesses were allowed to apply to have some cycle parking, Sheffield stands basically, put on their land, as long as they were always publicly accessible. So some GP surgeries, sports clubs, some cafes. So the other big thing that Labour are doing at the City Council is paying to have the cycle routes gritted during the winter. Last winter we saw a lot of broken bones on several of our cycle tracks, and the county are not funding it, so we decided in the city that we were going to step up and pay to have that done.
How would you reduce bike theft in the city?
Bike theft is a perennial problem, isn't it? I mean, obviously the one thing we can do is the bike racks, so having more really good, secure cycle parking, Sheffield stands, that type of thing. And we have spent a lot of money on that over the last few years. But apart from that, then you have to get inventive. So one of the sessions of the cycling forum, I invited somebody from a company that makes It'll 3D print plastic items that look identical to bits of your bicycle but have a tracker in them. So if your bicycle is stolen, you can see where it is, and they provide a service where they will come and retrieve your bike for you in a non-confrontational, non-violent manner. At that cycling forum meeting, Oxford University was there, and they have gone away and they are having conversations about how to roll this out. So the City Council officers have had extensive conversations with Network Rail and the train companies about this. The City Council, we developed a station master plan that was looking to incorporate all the many different things that need to be incorporated at the station: taxi drop-offs, bus stops, but cycle parking was a huge one. And in our station master plan, there was provision for a large increase in the number of cycle parking there. That got we were slightly knocked for six when Network Rail suddenly produced their own station plan last year, which paid no attention to the one that we'd spent several years working up, which is a bit disappointing. But of course, when it comes to getting planning permission for it, they are going to need to come through and comply with our policies. So I'm fairly confident that we will be able to secure a large increase in cycle parking at the redeveloped station when that comes about, because that is absolutely critical. We didn't really mention bike hangers. So the bike hangers, I've had in my cabinet role at the city, I had quite a lot of conversations with the county council about this, and we remain very frustrated that there are still only 3 on the streets of Oxford. So we are pushing for them to put in more of those. We know there are waiting lists for them. People really want these things. So it's a source of frustration that the county council, which is now run by the Liberal Democrats, is not able to get these. And I understand that you need traffic regulation orders to put them on the street, but this should be a priority.
What difference do you think you'd have made in the 6 months? If you next week, in 6 months' time, what's on the plan? What's on the
plan? Well, first of all, the main thing is to get my cycling forum back up and running. This last year, I've been the Lord Mayor, and turns out I'm not Superwoman. And that was one thing that slid. So I want to get that going, because that's a really good way of information sharing and project planning with all the interested groups in the city. So that will be running again in 6 months' time. I hope we'll seen more hangers. I hope we will have spent the last of our cycling infrastructure pot that I mentioned earlier, the 200k, on the best cycle parking we can get. The learner park in Florence Park should be operational by then. It's not anything very, very grand, so that should be easy to get sort of lined up and going. And I hope we will be more engaged and working well, I hope, with the county council on improving the roads, which is something, we all want to make the roads safer for cyclists. So I hope we will have good and cordial relations with the county council.